I centered the design of my application around an easy-to-use and intuitive GUI. When the application is launched, it opens the home screen. I met my criterion for success of creating an Android application that allows for navigation to subscreens. This page presents users with buttons that allows one to navigate to the behavior profile, ASD page, or to check into ISS. Both the behavior profile and ASD sections are password protected. As you can see, if the user enters the wrong password and tries to access these, they are presented with a pop-up notification that tells the user they have entered the wrong password. If the correct password is entered, they are allowed to access this part of the program, which will be demonstrated later. The check-in is not password protected to allow for students to check in independently from the teacher when they come to ISS. So if I click on the check-in function, I don't need a password, and it brings me to the main check-in page. It prompts me to enter the arrival time, name, and reason for meeting another set of my criterion for success. I originally wanted to restrict user input to numbers only for the arrival time with the pop-up notification, but during my programming process, I found it most useful to simply make it so the arrival time boxes were limited to a number pad, so it is physically impossible to enter non-numeric input. If I don't put information in the text boxes and try to submit, it provides me with a pop-up notification telling me I missed certain fields. A submittal process to the Google Sheet database will not commence. An example of my error handling. I can then choose to navigate back home or to schedule ASD. Due to the fact that a portion of the application is open to any user, access to Schedule ASD page is yet again restricted by password. This password works in the same fashion as the password on the home page. To navigate to the Schedule ASD page, one simply enters the password and clicks the button. All ASD functions can be accessed from the main page. We first have to enter the correct password. It follows a similar process for accessing check-in. Once the ASD menu is open, the user can choose to sign in, view the schedule, schedule an appointment, or return to the home page. Another example of the criterion for success I met. When the user chooses to view the schedule, the application opens the Google Sheet in the phone's browser. If the user chooses to open the Schedule ASD page, they are directed to a new screen. The screen allows for input of a name, date, and time. Once this information is entered, I can choose to create, update, or delete the scheduling. If the user chooses to create a new profile, we can see in the spreadsheet that a new row is created with the student's information. When update is chosen, we enter the name of the student. Changes can be made to that profile to represent new information. Finally, if the delete method is chosen, the entered student's name and information will be deleted. Like the check-in menu, if fields are left blank, I will receive a pop-up notification and the information will not be sent to the Google form. Through more work on this program, I could make it so that not all information has to be entered, only the student's name for the delete function to work. Also, in a similar fashion to the check-in function, the date and time text boxes would only allow the user to enter numbers by restricting input to the numeric keypad. When the user clicks post, the information is sent to the Google Sheet and the text box is clear, allowing for more entries. Once the user is done, the ASD menu button allows for navigation to the ASD homepage. Through the main menu, the user can access the behavioral profile, which also requires a password. Once in the behavior profile menu, the user can view the report, make edits to the report, or return to the main menu, meeting my criteria for success. The method to view the report works in a similar fashion to viewing the ASD schedule. When clicked, the View Report method opens the Google Sheet in the phone's browser. A possible expansion of my program would be to make the information from this would be to take the information from the spreadsheet and display it in the Android application. This would eliminate the process of the user having to navigate to a web page. When the user accesses the report feature, a new screen is opened. The user can then enter name, age, date of birth, number of visits, offenses, and if their case is resolved. The user can then choose between create, update, and delete functions, which operate in the same manner as these processes in the ASD schedule. To further extend my program, I could modify it so that the options such as the date of birth could use drop-down menus, and the number of offenses is not a user input, but a counter integrated into the Google Sheet. The information is then added to the Google Sheet accordingly when the user chooses to post. A notification alerting the user that if not all fields are filled out, it will let them know. The age and number of visits categories are also restricted to numbers only. The user can then navigate back to the behavior profile menu. They can navigate back to the main menu through the return home button. And that concludes the functionality of this program.